Not only is this going to be extremely useful, but it turned out to be a fun project to design and build as well. One switch and I've got 12 volts, two separate 5 volt outputs and 3.3 volts, all labeled and ready. I normally prototype my project on breadboards like these, but it usually turns into a mess of separate voltage converters powering different parts. I need 12 volts for a big stepper motor, so I grab a power brick. Then I need 5 volts for a servo, so I reach for a USB charger. I need 3.3 volts for the microcontroller, and I'm digging around for a regulator. So I wanted those voltages easily available on my desk, plug and play, ready to go. And later in the video I'm going to hook up a few power-hungry components to give it a proper test. But the first real challenge was designing something that's practical to use and still looks good sitting on the desk. So everything started with the case. It works well most of the time, as long as the part actually stays connected to the build plate. To give it a nice textured surface, I printed it with fuzzy skin enabled. It slightly jitters the nozzle on the outer walls, which hides layer lines and gives it this nice textured surface. The accent lines give it a bit of style and make the project feel less like a prototype and more like a finished product. The enclosure was sorted out, but the next challenge was splitting and managing all the 12 volt wiring inside. I started assembly by laying down the internal power rails. Everything inside is designed to screw directly into the plastic, so it stays modular and it's easy to swap out parts without reprinting the entire enclosure. I designed this terminal block for easy distribution. It keeps everything clean and makes changes fast. I like these ones because it's basically just a copper insert, so I can 3D print the holder and drop them straight in. This ends up being the main power hub inside the box. All the rails branch out from here. This bracket will secure the power cable once everything is wired up. But with the input distribution sorted, I also wanted an easy way to shut off all power to the device and make the whole setup a bit safer to use. The incoming 12 volts is first routed through a switch in the front, and then back to the terminal block. One output is basically a straight 12 volt pass-through for higher power stuff. Two outputs will provide 5 volts, and the last one will give us 3.3 volts. The mains voltage never enters this box. That's handled by an external 12 volt power supply, so everything inside here is low voltage DC. And then we split that into the outputs we need. So it should be fairly safe, I think. But of course, I'm a computer engineer, so that means I'm overqualified to talk about electronic safety. Just use common sense if you make something like this yourself. But even with everything routed cleanly, prototyping still has a way of going wrong. So I added one more layer of protection inside. That's where the fuse module comes in. If I short something or a motor stalls and pulls a spike of current, I'd rather have a cheap fuse pop than end up with melted wiring again. I'm using a 3 amp fuse for the 12 volt rail, 2 amp for the 5 volts and 1 amp for the 3.3 volt output. The 3.3 volt rail is just for microcontrollers, so 1 amp should be more than enough for what I plan to use it for. That takes care of the output protection, but now we need to turn the 12 volt input into the output voltages we need. I secured the ground wire to the terminal block. Then I routed the 12 volt line up to the front switch. I crimped connectors onto the input and output wires and ran a ground wire through an internal channel to the 12 volt front connector. My soldering isn't winning awards anytime soon. But, to my defense, soldering with a camera between you and the part is like doing surgery through a mirror. For voltage conversion, I'm using these mini buck converters. They are cheap, efficient, and small enough that I can line up 3 of them in a row. Most of the wiring was sorted, but I still needed a simple way to see if the device was actually powered on. I test connected the status LED via a 220 ohm resistor, and it was basically trying to burn a hole through my eyes. So I gradually tried stronger resistors until the light was bright enough to see, but not annoying to have on the desk. I just need an indicator, not a flashlight. With the small details sorted, it was finally time to lock everything down inside the enclosure. These last few mounting brackets keep the components firmly in place inside the case. I spent more time designing the inside of this enclosure than I'd like to admit, but I'm quite happy about how it turned out. At this point, all the wiring was finished, and I think I managed to keep it pretty clean and organized. But will it function as expected? I've used 2mm screw holes throughout the entire design, and these screws bite into the plastic really well, without needing inserts. It makes assembly fast and easy to reopen if I ever want to change something later. All the wiring was finished, but would it actually work? Before plugging anything expensive into this, I verified the voltages. 12 volt rail, 12.17, good. First 5 volt rail, 5.11, perfect. Second rail, 5.12, and the 3.3 volt reads 3.33. That's exactly what I wanted to see, but the real test was to power up some actual hardware and see how it behaved under load. Before, powering a project meant juggling loose converters on the desk and hoping nothing wiggled loose. Now I can just plug in and flip the switch. To give this a thorough test, I wired up a microcontroller, 2 stepper motors and 2 servo engines. I wrote a quick sketch that runs a few steps and gradually ramps up to running all the components at the same time. A quick test of both stepper motors, and then the same for both servo engines. And finally, everything is running at the same time for a maximum power consumption test. It works exactly as I hoped, but I'm really curious what you think about this build. Do you agree with my choice of outputs, or would you have done something different? Now I can finally get back to this ridiculous little project that forced me to build this power box in the first place. And if you'd like to build something like this yourself, I'll put the 3D files and some build notes on my Patreon page, link in the description. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button, don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.